Some stories were never meant to be told. Welcome to Tales That Haunt. Long-time listener, first time sharing my story. Normally I tell these two events separately, but they happened so close together, and they mirror each other so well, that it only makes sense to tell them as one long nightmare. By the end of this, it may sound far-fetched, too unreal, too convenient. But I swear on everything I am, this actually happened to me. This all started in the early fall of 2003. I was a high school senior back then, no driver's license yet, no real responsibilities either. Just free time, bad decisions, and curiosity. My best friend Mark and I were deep into urban exploration at the time. Abandoned barns, old houses, anything forgotten, we wanted inside it. There was even this hidden gas station near our school, designed in the 70s to be concealed behind trees instead of bright signs. It felt eerie, it felt secret, but we were getting bored. We needed something better. That's when I stumbled across a strange place online, Little People Village. The legend said it was hidden deep in the woods, a tiny stone village built by a single insane artisan long ago. Miniature houses, tiny pathways, and in the center, a stone throne. The legend claimed that anyone who sat on the throne would die exactly 7 years later. Yeah, total nonsense, right? The problem was that back then, the internet descriptions for the place were absolutely terrible. Conflicting directions, vague landmarks, nothing reliable. So we spent weeks searching random woods and abandoned areas trying to locate it. Along the way, we found something else. The abandoned nursing home. Several miles from where we started searching, we found an abandoned nursing home, maybe a hospice facility. It sat just off the same highway we kept driving. We didn't expect much, but this place became our main spot. We went there over a dozen times, and this happened right in the middle of all those visits. Inside the building. The main building was shaped like a T, 2 floors, a basement underneath. Each wing had a stairwell. The middle section once had an elevator, but it didn't work anymore. The only way inside was through a busted window in the basement, and I hated that basement. You dropped down into a massive open space. There was an old piano, a small stage, and massive murals on the walls. The artwork reminded me of disturbing Cold War communist propaganda. The place was trashed. Graffiti everywhere, dead birds, destroyed toilets. But strangely, no signs of squatters. We explored every inch of that place, every hiding spot, every room. There was even one room upstairs where the entire floor looked like it had once been covered in dried blood. One afternoon, Mark and I were in the central hub on the ground floor. That day, we brought our BB guns. They looked incredibly real. We weren't hurting anything, just shooting random garbage that had already been destroyed. We'd been inside for about 40 minutes, and then we heard it. From directly above us, full speed running, heavy, violent, like a massive man sprinting across the second floor. It moved from one end of the wing to the other in seconds. Whoever or whatever it was sounded huge, at least 6 feet tall, at least 250 pounds, heavy work boots slamming into the floor. Instead of running, we split up. Mark rushed for the stairwell in the wing where the footsteps were. I ran for the opposite stairwell to cut whoever it was off. But the footsteps never came back. They just stopped. That made no sense. The only way out of the building was through the basement, and the stairwells were the only access to it. So where did it go? The search. We searched the entire second floor for almost 45 minutes. Every room, every hiding spot. Someone that big couldn't just vanish. The only place we barely checked was the drop ceiling, which wouldn't support a person that size anyway. Finally, As darkness started to fall, we gave up. Something felt wrong. We left. We were walking back to Mark's truck, only about 30% of the way there, when we both froze at the exact same moment that horrible feeling hit us. We were being watched. Slowly, without speaking, we turned around, and in the second floor corner window near the stairs, there was a head, just a head, no body, no arms, no shoulders. It was gray, emaciated, sunken. Its eyes were locked directly on us. It had a faint mist around it. We stared in disbelief. Whatever it was not alive. We never went back to that building again. Now we jump to the second event. A few weeks before or after, I can't remember exactly. Near our local mall was an old place called Undercliff Sanitarium. It used to treat tuberculosis patients, troubled children, and mental patients. By the time we found it, most of it was shut down. But some buildings were still active. State facilities, even a state police barracks nearby. Security was tight. Still, we went. Mark and I parked behind a smaller auxiliary building away from surveillance. Important detail. The truck was fully manual. Manual locks, manual windows, and a locked tool chest in the bed. We locked everything: doors, windows, tailgate, toolbox, everything. Then we walked a quick perimeter around the building looking for a way inside. It took less than 2 minutes. When we rounded the corner back toward the truck, every single part of it was open. Doors, windows, tailgate, tool chest, hood, glove box, center console. All wide open, nothing stolen, nobody around. No sounds, no footsteps, no time for anyone to even do that. We didn't speak, we just got in and left. When we got home, I started searching online. That's when I found the story. Decades earlier, in that exact courtyard, a child had been stabbed to death with a shank by other children in the facility. And ever since then, vehicles parked there had a habit of being mysteriously opened, unlocked, tampered with, without explanation. The exact same thing that happened to us. I know how this all sounds. Too much, too close together, too unreal. But this is only a small part of what I've experienced. I grew up in a haunted house. I consider myself a skeptic, but I know what I saw. And I wasn't alone. I took the night shift job because it paid more. Driving through empty highways at 2:30 a.m. with rain hammering my windshield, all I wanted was a bed. The storm came out of nowhere. My phone lost signal, the GPS froze, and the road just disappeared into darkness. That's when I saw the hotel. Its sign flickered like a dying heartbeat. Marlowe Inn. I don't even remember turning the wheel. One moment I was skidding across wet asphalt, the next I was pulling into the parking lot. There were only 3 cars parked. The building looked old. Too old. Like it had been forgotten by time. Inside, the air smelled like dust, an old carpet soaked in disinfectant. Behind the counter sat an old man. He didn't look up when I entered. "I need a room," I said. He slid a key across the desk without speaking. I looked down at the tag. Room 7. Something twisted in my chest. I don't know why. Is this the only room you have?" I asked. The old man finally looked up. His eyes were pale, almost white. "All others are occupied." I didn't like the way he said that. The hallway to room 7 was too quiet. No footsteps, no hum of electricity, no distant TV sounds, just the soft crunch of my shoes on the carpet. Room 7 sat at the end of the hall. The door was already slightly open. I stood there, staring into the dark gap, my heart thudding. I knocked. No answer. I pushed the door open. The room looked normal. Bed, desk, lamp, window, too normal. I locked the door, dropped my bag, and sat on the edge of the bed. The storm raged outside. Thunder rattled the glass. The air felt heavy, thick. At 3:17 a.m., the whispering started. It sounded like someone murmuring directly into my ear. I bolted upright. Nothing. Then the bathroom door creaked open, slowly. I hadn't opened it. The whisper returned. Longer. Slower. I couldn't understand the words, but I could feel the emotion behind them. Begging. I grabbed the lamp and swung it toward the bathroom. Empty. But in the mirror, I saw someone standing behind me. I screamed and turned around. No one was there. The reflection disappeared. The whisper stopped. I didn't sleep at all after that. At 6 a.m., I marched to the front desk. The old man was still sitting there. I need to check out, I said, now. He nodded slowly. You saw her. My stomach dropped. Saw who? The girl who forgot to leave. What are you talking about? I snapped. He reached under the counter and pulled out an old photo. It showed a young woman standing in room 7. Dead eyes, same height as me, same face shape, same scar near the eyebrow. It was me. She died here 10 years ago, the old man said. Storm, accident, never checked out. My hands started shaking violently. That's impossible, I whispered. He met my eyes. Then why did she recognize you last night? The lights flickered. I ran. I didn't sign out. I didn't look back. Behind me, from the hallway above, I heard the door to room 7 close. The Marlowe Inn does not exist anymore. But sometimes, when it rains at night, my phone receives a notification with no sender. Room 7 is ready for you.